Hi guys, today I'm going to show you how to make two cozy fall meals, a Mexican casserole and a creamy polenta with balsamic vegetables and tofu. They're both so good, so let's get right into it. We're going to start off with this Mexican casserole. So I'm going to add a little bit of vegetable broth, some chopped up onion and chopped up bell pepper and jalapeno into a nice big pot. If you want to use oil, you can too. I was just trying to keep this on the lighter side, less oil. And we are just going to mix this around. Once they are a little bit fragrant, the colors come out a little bit, the onions are a little clear, we're gonna add in the rest of our ingredients. So we're gonna add in some black beans and pinto beans and some frozen corn. You can also add in vegan ground beef or lentils or any kind of beans you like, chickpeas, anything can go in here. And just give this a nice mix around. And then we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons of taco seasoning, give this all nice flavor, and just let this cook up for a few minutes. Nothing crazy, just on a low heat, so all the flavors mesh together and everything's cooked down and soft. Once it's all cooked, take it off the heat. We're gonna make our enchilada sauce, so I'm using 1 can of fire roasted tomatoes. We're gonna add in a bunch of delicious seasonings and some water and just give this baby a blend, and that's all you gotta do to make homemade delicious enchilada sauce. Tastes good. It's kind of an abridged version, but it's super easy and good to make. I'm just giving a little taste test here and everything tasted good, so now we can move on. I'm going to cut my tortillas into strips. These are the flour corn tortillas from Whole Foods, but use any tortillas you like, and obviously if you're gluten-free, use corn tortillas. And just gonna cut into these nice big strips. I used 5 tortillas. So now into a big baking dish, this is a 9x11, we're gonna add our enchilada sauce in, and I'm just gonna move the pan around to get the sauce nice and coated on the bottom. And then we're gonna add in some of our strips. We're gonna make this in 2 layers. If you don't wanna make it in 2 layers, you can just add all your ingredients in one shot, but I like the layered effect. Then we're gonna add in some refried beans. I'm just gonna spread those out with a spatula, and I heated these up in the microwave and added like 2 tablespoons of water just to help thin them out a little bit. Don't worry, this doesn't have to be beautiful or perfect in any way, shape, or form. This is a casserole, a hearty baked dish. Then we're gonna add in some of the bean and corn filling, not all of it again, because like I said, we're layering. Then I'm gonna add in some vegan cheese. I'm using the vegan mozzarella from Trader Joe's. I really like this one. And now we're gonna add some more tortilla strips on top and start our second layer. So there's really no wrong or right way to do this, just make layers however you want. Then I'm gonna add my rest of my refried beans on there. And I love refried beans. Just be sure to check them, make sure there's no lard or anything. And then we're gonna add some of our enchilada sauce. Next up, we're gonna add the rest of that bean and corn filling. We're gonna add a little more enchilada sauce on top of that, and I did save some for later. And then finally, our vegan cheese, the rest of it. And that is it. We are gonna bake this beauty now. And I just like to clean the pan up before I put it in there, just because that way this stuff won't get baked on and it's easier for cleaning later. Just a fun little kitchen tip. So yeah, we are just going to bake this in the oven until all the cheese is nice and melted and everything is bubbly and gooey and so good. This is delicious. I'm like obsessed with it. So once it comes out of the oven, it's gonna look something like this. So melty and gooey and good, and you can add as much vegan cheese as you want. I was just trying to keep it a little lower on the vegan cheese. And this is it when it is all done. It is not the most beautiful dish, I won't lie to you guys. It's a little ugly, it's a little messy, but it is so delicious and so good. So you're just gonna cut it up into pieces, let it rest for like 15-20 minutes before you cut into it. Otherwise it's just gonna be hot and fall out everywhere. And then you can just serve it up. This stays great in the fridge. I had this like all week long. It's really good for meal prep, and it's great for families, and it's good. It's really healthy and filled with lots of good things. So I think you guys are really going to enjoy it, and it's a good one. So yeah, I just like to save a little bit of enchilada sauce so you can put it on there. And it's also good if you're using this for meal prep that way, just in case it gets a little bit dried out by like day 3 or 4, But this is so good. I know you guys are gonna love this one. All right, on to meal number 2. We're gonna start off by adding some non-dairy milk and water into a pot. Always unsweetened, original, no flavors. Then I'm going to add in half a cup of dry polenta and some seasonings, nutritional yeast, salt, and garlic powder, keeping it really, really simple and really good. Give this a nice whisk and bring it to a boil for about 5 minutes. It's important to whisk it because the polenta can get a little bit clumpy, and you want to get the dry polenta, not the polenta that like comes in a tube. And then you can drop the heat, put a lid on it, and simmer for about 15 to 20 minutes until the polenta is super soft and creamy. It should look something like this when it's all done. If it needs more cooking time, feel free to add in more liquid. To prepare the rest of the dish, we're gonna add in 1 teaspoon of olive oil and some nice kale and Brussels sprouts. Of course, do whatever vegetables you like. I just felt like these are really good, like hearty fall, winter veggies, you know, like they're really filling and satiating, you know? So that's why I went with it. We're gonna add a little bit of salt and pep and just give that a little toss around. If you want to make this oil-free, just use water or vegetable broth. I'm going to put a lid on this, and then the water that is naturally in the vegetables is going to help to steam this a little bit. If you feel like you need to add some water in, don't be afraid to. And once they look something like this, like they're pretty soft, the Brussels sprouts are kind of crispy, I'm going to take them out of the pan, and then I'm going to add in some extra firm tofu. This is actually the high protein tofu from Trader Joe's, the super, super firm one. And I just cut this into like nice rectangles, you know, good bite-sized pieces. This is a non-stick pan, so just cook it up until it gets nice and crispy. Once it's browned and crisp, we are going to add those veggies back in there. Just give it a little toss, mix everything together, and then we're gonna add on our very simple sauce of balsamic glaze mixed with a little bit of water. If you can't find balsamic glaze, if you don't have balsamic glaze, I put substitutions in the blog post that are linked down below, and just toss this around, cook it for a few minutes, get all the flavors going, get everything nice and coated in the balsamic, and let it soak in there, because that's really the only flavor that this is gonna have. This is a very simple dish. And now we can just plate it up. And this polenta, oh my gosh, I love creamy polenta. It's so good. If you've never had it, you have to try it. It's kind of, I guess, like grits, but not really. It's different and it's better in my opinion. So I think you guys are gonna love it. And just paired with this hearty vegetables and the Brussels sprouts and the kale and the tofu, like everything in here just works so perfectly. Such a good cozy night dinner. I'm gonna add a little bit of fresh parsley and salt to be fancy for a garnish. You don't have to do that, or you can add red pepper flakes. You can add more balsamic glaze on top. Really, whatever you like. And this is it when it's all done. I mean, don't you just want to dive into this dish? If you don't, then I don't know. I don't know what to tell you, but I want to dive back into this dish. It's so delicious. You get such good flavors. It's sweet. It's a little bit salty. You have such good flavors with the vegetables. It's really, really good. So those were our recipes. I hope you enjoyed this. As always, full recipes are on my blog, link in the description box down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.